some things to know about the Vatican Museum before your visit towards the end of this video. So keep watching. Buongiorno, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. My name's Shalisa if you're new here, and we are waiting for the train right now to go to Rome. Pretty quiet in here. And of course my crew is the only one making noise, but super excited just to get out and get into the city of Rome and be around the tourists, because I have a sneaky suspicion it is going to be packed. So we've got about 30 more minutes, probably 30-40 more minutes until our trip gets here. So we're gonna try to keep the pace. I don't know how that's gonna work out with Parker, but we're gonna make it do what it do. Immediately when we got to Rome, we dropped our bags off and headed straight to the Colosseum. Since this was my mom's first time visiting Rome, it was a must that she visited the Colosseum. This is absolutely a place that everyone who is traveling to Rome or Italy in general, you have to go see the Colosseum in person. So if you are a regular to my channel, then you'll probably know that this is like the third time we've gone to Rome. So you may be wondering, like, why are we back again? Well, my mom is in town visiting for the month, so of course we were going to take her to Rome. It's literally an hour train ride, 2 hour by car, so it's super convenient to go visit Rome if you live in Naples. And plus it's Rome. It's like, who doesn't want to come to Rome all the time? It's a good time and it's a good vibe. So we did a little stop at the Colosseum, and now we're about to get a snack because I'm hungry. And I will say, it is hot. It is hot. We had a little bit of time in between our afternoon tour, and we decided to grab a quick bite. This restaurant was really close to the Colosseum, and it was pretty good. Nothing mind-blowing, but it definitely did what it needed to do to give us some energy to continue ripping and running the streets of Rome. The one tour that we did book for this 24-hour day in Rome was to the Vatican. The great thing about doing this tour was this was the first time that myself, Marcus, and Parker actually got to go inside the Vatican. So we were all able to experience this for the first time. And I will say, we were not prepared for this tour. We did not think it was going to be as extensive and long and detailed as it actually was. There were a lot of things to see in the Vatican, and honestly, given the time of day that our tour was and the fact that we had literally traveled from one side of the city all the way to the other side to get to Vatican City, we didn't even see a quarter of everything that was in the Vatican. But I will say that if you are someone who likes to go to museums and you're really into history and you like to read up on every single artifact a museum has to offer, then the Vatican is definitely the perfect place that you want to visit on your trip to Rome. stopped at the room to obviously freshen up. The Vatican. I'm gonna tell you all some things to know about the Vatican Museum before your visit towards the end of this video, so keep watching. But now we're heading towards the Trevi Fountain to have dinner, so no rest for the weary. And trust me, we're not weary, very much less. So let's keep enjoying Rome. La Roma. To close out our trip, we found this restaurant that was in the main part of the city, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Everything we ate was delicious. The seafood pasta was so good, and the steak was good too. The vibes were very low key, and it wasn't overly packed for it to be the peak season in Rome. There was enough space. We did make a reservation, but even if we hadn't made a reservation, we still would have gotten accommodated. I would definitely recommend this restaurant. Loved it. All right, y'all, so as you can see, we are back home in Napoli, and as I mentioned earlier in my video, I wanted to give you all a little bit of the lowdown for your upcoming visit to the Vatican. So first things first, if you're going to be visiting Rome and you plan on going to the Vatican and you want to go to the Vatican, if you can plan your trip to come in the winter months or when the weather is cooler, I would highly recommend, like most Italian homes, restaurants, things of that sort, like the AC is not a thing out here. We literally had brunch when we got back to Naples and at one of our favorite places, and they did not have the AC on. And you think of the Vatican, an institution that has been around for years and years and years and years, it's not designed with AC. And so when you're doing the tour, it is extremely hot in the thick of summertime. And then mind you, like, you're doing this tour and there's hundreds and thousands of people doing the same tour at the same time. I would also like to add that if you are primarily a woman, but I think some of the rules apply to men, especially when it comes to shorts. But if you're a woman, they will ask you to cover up when you go into the Vatican. So that's another emphasis on, like, if you're gonna come to Rome and you wanna go visit the Vatican, then maybe plan on going to the Vatican during the cooler fall winter months, because they ask you to cover up. And yesterday, I think the high in Rome was like 99 degrees. Today it may have hit 100, but it is extremely hot. And then you're asked to cover up. You cannot wear tank tops, back out, shorts, all that type of stuff. Now that's what they ask you and tell you to do. Now what I saw yesterday was a whole lot of back showing, a whole lot of tank tops, a whole lot of people just doing what they wanted to do. So take that with a grain of salt. I don't know if maybe during the summer months they are a little bit more lax with their rules, but I know the company that we booked our tickets through sent us a list of requirements. I will show you all what they told us. And the requirement was basically like, don't wear anything revealing, don't come up in here with your booty shorts and things of that sort. And I honored it, and so did my mom. And even Marcus, like when we came to Rome, he had on some shorts, but before we hit the ground running, he switched out of his shorts and actually put on jeans. Again, just honoring the requirements and understanding, like, this is a religious institution, so want to be respectful of that. But again, they didn't seem to enforce it, and again, putting on the extra layer of clothes made the visit to the Vatican even more uncomfortable. Additionally, I would keep this in mind if you're going to visit the Vatican. Everyone has their own reasonings for going, but I think a major highlight of visiting the Vatican is to see the 16th chapel in person. And I would tell anyone to be mindful of like the Sistine Chapel. You're not going to enter into the Vatican Museum and walk immediately into the Sistine Chapel. And I will say that I was not mentally prepared for that. Visually, if you look outside of the Vatican, it is huge. So I knew that it was big, but as you all know, if you travel a lot and if you do tours, sometimes like you could go into a famous building or institution and only see like a quarter of the actual place. Like I remember when I was in college, my family and I went to visit the White House, and you know, I thought we were gonna tour the bedrooms and like where Abraham Lincoln lived and where the Obamas were living, because at the time the Obamas were in office, and literally we just toured a small slither of the White House. So I think that's kind of how I figured the Vatican tour was going to be. Essentially we did, but it was still big. Like the Vatican is so big, it's so huge. And the beautiful thing about it is every hallway you turn down, every room you go in is beautifully decorated and artwork, and it's just so beautiful, and that was great. But then when you actually get to the Sistine Chapel portrait, it makes it seem very underwhelming. I'll just put it out there. And lastly, one thing I will say that may not be a, you know, hidden secret, but I do want to remind anyone who plans on going to see the Vatican that you cannot take any pictures or videos or things of that sort when you are actually looking, when you are actually in the Sistine Chapel. That I will say they enforce. They did not enforce the dress code policy, but when it came to being in the room with the famous portrait, they did not, like, if they saw you bring out your phone, they would stop you. So that one, I would not try to break that rule. But overall, y'all, I enjoyed visiting Rome, and I will warn you all, I will be going back to Rome in the near future being next month when my in-laws come and visit. So I will be taking you all with me, and you need to subscribe because you're not going to want to miss that, because I'm pretty sure we will stumble into a new place that you will want to know about before your upcoming trip to Rome. So please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I will see you in the next video below.